Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do another movie review and makeup. I'm going to be trying out the Take My Heart palette from Lunatic Cosmetics, and I'm going to be talking about Cabin in the Woods. I actually have it playing in the background on mute, so there's no audio. It's just the visual, so let me know if that's distracting or not. And yeah, we're just going to jump into it. Make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already. I try and do these every week. I was doing them for a while and I stopped, and so now I'm going to try and do them on Mondays. So yeah, we're going to jump into the movie review and makeup. So let's just get started. Cabin in the Woods came out in 2011. I am going to put a disclaimer out. There are going to be spoilers. I'm going to be talking about the whole film, so if that bothers you or you haven't seen it and you don't like spoilers, stop this, go watch it and come back. It is currently on Hulu. That is what I am playing it from right now. I think I used to own it on DVD, and I don't have, I lost all of my DVDs when I moved, so. But it is on Hulu, so I was very excited. I think Shudder had it at one point for a little while, and then now it's on Hulu. It's one of my favorite like indie-ish horror films. Like I said, it came out in 2011. Chris Hemsworth is in it. This was pre Thor. And then the lady that plays Mike's mom in Stranger Things plays Chris Hemsworth's character's girlfriend. They're all pretty young looking, and I like it. It's an interesting movie. Like I said, you'll have to let me know if it bothers you to have it playing in the background. Like I said, I have it muted to kind of help save like copywriting nonsense. So it's just the visual. And then this is what, if anybody cares, this is what the inside of the palette looks like. It's just a 5-pan. I swatched this in the new makeup I purchased recently video. I think I'm going to swatch it again just because I haven't actually used this. Let's see. And I don't know necessarily what kind of look I want to do. I haven't decided. I did get out my other Lunatic Cosmetics palettes in case I need to pull. The Elvira palette has some, like there's a red in here and like these mauve colors. I might be able to, this middle one's a blush, but I might be able to use that as a transition if I need to. And then I have my Supernatural palette, which has some mauves also. These two on the end are good blending out transition shades. And then I did pull out the Vampira palette just in case I need something to deepen up the outer corner. But the Elvira does have a black in it. So as much, I did talk about this in my disappointing products video, but I do like this palette and it does work well in conjunction with my others. And I am giving away one of these currently. So in that new makeup I purchased video, that is still active, and I am going to be giving away one of these palettes, but we're going to use it maybe in conjunction with this. I swatched the shades if anybody cares about the makeup. Some people are only here for the movie reviews. Some people like the makeup. Some people don't care about the movie. I do get both, so we're just going to jump in. I'm not going to talk about, like, hold up the palette and show you each shade. I'm just going to play with it, and we will talk about the film. I did rewatch this last week. I hadn't seen it in a while. And I was under the impression that Seth Green played one of the guys in the control room, but he doesn't. I was getting it blurred. Robot Chicken did an episode where they spoofed this movie. And so in Robot Chicken, Seth Green is one of the producers, one of the creators. He does most, him and another guy do all the voices. So he was in the control room in Robot Chicken. And so I think I was blurring those two. If you haven't seen Robot Chicken, I recommend checking it. They're only like 10-minute long episodes. Like, they're really short. They've done horror films. Like, they do one with Jason and Michael Myers and Freddy. Like, there's some funny ones. They've done a couple of Lost Boys. They're clay animation and like little Barbie doll. And they like do voices, and it's funny. But they did an episode on Cabin in the Woods, so I think that's what I was thinking of. But it's a good movie. I think Cabin in the Woods is one of those movies in the horror community where people either really liked it or they thought it was the dumbest movie that they had ever seen it. Because I feel like there's two camps in the horror community. People either like this movie or they hate it. I remember watching it the first time and just being blown away. I feel like it was a little bit ahead of its time as far as the concept. I feel like it had a pretty original concept because it kind of starts off, you feel like it's going to be, you know, the typical Friday the 13th, you know, the 5 kids go out camping to a, you know, a cabin in the woods, and you think it's just going to be this atypical like slasher movie. And then there's all these kind of twists. And like I said at the beginning, there are going to be spoilers. I'm actually going to be talking about the film. So they get out to the cabin, and then you find out that they were put out there on purpose to essentially be sacrificed. There's a government agency. There's cameras all over the cabin. They're being watched. They kind of set it up to where they're in charge of their own choices to a point, but essentially they're all out there to be killed, to be sacrificed. You find out that there's these, you know, these ancient titans are under the ground, and the only thing keeping them at bay is I don't know how many years, or every year. I don't know if it's every year. I missed that part, but there has to be a sacrifice. And so there's a couple different like divisions around the world, and they all try and work together because they need to have one successful sacrifice. If they don't, you know, the titans will wake up and destroy the earth, blah, blah, blah. So there's a couple different divisions around the world to kind of increase their odds that one of them's going to have a successful. So they're essentially purposely trying to kill these people. And they do let them kind of pick their own fate. There's a room in, you know, the cellar door pops open, and there's all kinds of junk, different trinkets. And depending on which one they choose to activate will be what is brought up to kill them. There's a scene where, like the final girl and one of the other characters ends up actually in the government building, and it reminds me of the movie Cube a little bit, but they're in this like clear elevator, and they see all these different like monsters, and they kind of pan back, and you've got every creature, every monster they've got them all in these little compartments, and that's, you know, what gets sent up to kill them depending on which. But it's just kind of, it plays on a lot of, it's almost making fun of itself. Because you see, you know, the werewolf and the zombie and these aliens, and they're at the, you know, the cliche, the cabin in the woods, and then, you know, but the government essentially is controlling this. They control the environment, the atmosphere, you know, they're trapped. There's like a force field around, you know, they can't leave. There's a certain order they have to be sacrificed in. Like, it to me was an interesting kind of innovative concept on the slasher movie, because I said it's not a typical, like, you go in thinking that it's going to be a typical slasher movie, but to me I don't know, it was a very unique concept. And the agency, it's so funny, they've removed themselves so much that I don't even think they look at these kids as people anymore, because I'm sure they feel bad to a point, but this is their job to ensure that these people don't make it out alive because, like I said, humanity depends on it. And then at one point you see the other, like the Japanese division, and I think there's another one somewhere else, like they fail. So it's up to them for this to follow through. And if this doesn't follow through, humanity's like doomed. And it's one of those things like when the two find out, do they just let themselves be sacrificed? Or do they say, the hell with humanity, we're going to, you know, and die with everybody else eventually later? Like, I don't know. It's, like I said, it's one of those movies where I think you either liked it or you thought like it was the dumbest thing you'd ever seen. I am in the camp where I thought, I don't know, I just liked it. I've always liked Cabin in the Woods. It's one of those guilty pleasure movies. Like, since it's on Hulu, I've watched it. I know when I had satellite, like USA and Sci-Fi have shown it before, and it's one of those, when I see it on, I watch it just because I like it. I like the cast. Like I said, this was before Chris Hemsworth became famous, like super famous, so it's funny to go back and watch him in this movie. I think he's a good actor. He does a good job in it, but it's just kind of funny because it's kind of a cheesy horror movie, but I don't know. I like it. Like I said, it's a unique story, and I really haven't. Anyways, I really haven't seen anything quite like it, and I think it's a good movie. So definitely, if you haven't, hopefully my spoilers didn't ruin it for you. If you haven't seen it and you made it this far, definitely check it out. Like I said, it's one of those you go in, especially if, you know, if you remember watching it the first time you've seen it, you think it's going to be one type of a movie. And they kind of set it up because you see the government officials at the very beginning, and then they show the kids. So you already kind of know, like, it's like, wait a minute, something weird's going on here. But it's definitely, I think it's a good movie. Like I said, it's not everybody. I feel like there's two camps within the horror community, but I always just thought it was very innovative. Yeah, I was trying to do these movie reviews every week, and part of it was I was busy at work, and part of it I wasn't really watching movies, so it's kind of hard to talk about films when I haven't really been watching anything. But being home and then not working currently, I've had more time, so I've actually gone back and watched some things. So go in with this. I'm doing this, if anybody cares, this one right here. I pretty much was able to use this palette by itself, which was nice. And then using this, I had gotten out my distortion glitter, but I don't think I need it because I think I can use this color instead. So we'll put that back. But figured I'd throw in the makeup a little bit. I was other than the little bit of black that I pulled out of the Elvira palette, I've just used this palette. So that I think is nice. If anybody's interested, I'll leave Lunatic Cosmetics website down below. They have sales all the time. So like this palette retails for $35. I waited until I got, you know, 20%. The Elvira palette is down to like $13 right now. Normally it's $25. So if anybody wants that one, it does have 5 shadows and a blush, which the eyeshadow can also be used. But back to the movie. I mean, you can compare it to other slasher movies, but the storyline I think is different enough that it doesn't really quite, like, it's not exactly like anything else, which I think is, you don't find a lot of unique concepts anymore. There's a lot of remakes being done. They'll copy different things. Another one that I really like that Wes Craven did was My Soul to Take, with the, you know, there's the serial killer with multiple personalities. and he's killed, and so all the different souls go into these different kids, and it's like which one's the psycho, which kid ended up with the bad altar kind of a situation, because there's a point in the movie where the Africans believed that multiple personalities actually was multiple souls, so that's why I like all of these kids born on the same day. That was another one that I felt like was kind of, it wasn't a remake, it wasn't really like anything else, which is how I feel about this movie. And again, I think My Soul to Take is another movie that people either liked that movie or they didn't so much care for it. I try and give the indie movies a chance. I don't know. I feel like they try harder sometimes. I'm pretty sure this was straight to video when it came out. I don't remember if this was released in the theater. If anybody else remembers, you can let me know. It's been so long. I don't. And I thought this movie was older. 2011. It wasn't that long ago. It's been out for a little bit, but I was thinking it came out in like 2007, but it was a little more newer than that. But like I said, it's on Hulu. Definitely go watch it, even if you've seen it. And if you have Hulu and you haven't watched it in a while, definitely go back and recheck it out. And again, let me know how you feel about having the movie play in the background. I think I may have experimented with this before. Like I said, I just restarted doing these, so I don't really remember. I think when I was talking about The Lost Boys, I had it playing in the background, but I wanted to try and do a thing where I had like the movie, like me as in a little screen and then the movie playing, but there's copyright issues with that, so I don't think that that's ever something that I'll be able to do where we just watch the whole movie. But at least this way, it gives you a chance to kind of see little snippets of the visual without necessarily potentially copyrighting myself. I'm just going to put a little bit of, this is the Glitter and Glow Follow the Sun, because it's a very like similar yellowy toned color, and it'll add, like, the shade that I used had a little bit of shimmer in it, but not full on glitter. So yeah, let me know if you like Cabin in the Woods. My favorite part is towards the end when they show, like, they pan back and they show all the different monsters and creatures in the different like elevators. It was just funny to me to kind of see that, because it's, like I said, they're making fun of themselves a little bit. Like, I don't think this movie necessarily takes itself too seriously, but it's not a full-on comedy by any means. I like the scenes, like they're in the government control facility. It's just kind of interesting take. I'm gonna try and use this dagger liner again from Kat Von D. I probably shouldn't keep calling it Kat Von D, but I think I mentioned in my KVD try-on I'm still going to. Has anybody watched any new horror movies? Does anybody have any good recommendations for things that I should watch and check out and then potentially review? Generally the ones that I review are ones that have been out for a while. I've never started the series where I review new movies. I just kind of talk about older films that I like, that I think people should watch, or get their opinions, try to get other people's opinions on it. But let me know if anybody's seen any, and it doesn't have to be a new movie, just horror movies or even older 80s movies, because there's a lot of them that I haven't seen. that you think I should check out that might be worth watching. Because even with horror movies, like I discovered one of the ones I talked about in my last video was Body Bags, and I just saw that, just discovered that. I mean, that technically wasn't an 80s movie. I think it was made in 93, but I had never seen that before. So there's a lot of stuff out there I haven't watched, so I'm always curious for recommendations. Some things that you guys maybe like or you think I might like. Leave those comments, let me know. One eye always gives me more trouble than the other. It's not always this eye, but a lot of times it is, I think, because I'm right-handed. So yeah, hopefully this wasn't too boring of a video. Because I was super excited when they added this to Hulu. I think it's worth watching. And I don't know if I'm gonna put, I put false lashes on. I will probably do it later off of camera. It's hard to do some of this stuff and talk at the same time. I was watching a little bit of it. They're in the cabin. It hasn't started yet. I don't know what happened, and I think it's one of those where if they don't go down there, like they can't physically force them to go down in the cellar. So I think it's one of those situations where if they don't go down there and pick anything, then the company's just like screwed, because they're not forcing them to go down there and pick something. So they have to kind of let it be a personal choice, which is kind of interesting. But at the same time, it's one of those, they need them to die, but at the same time, they can't just go in and shoot them. I mean, there's rules that they have to follow. Like I said, they have to die in a certain order. And then the virgin is, the fifth person is optional. Like, she has to be left last, but she doesn't necessarily have to be killed for the ritual to be complete. So I don't know, it's kind of felt like the slutty girl has to go first, and then the stoner, and then the jock and the scholar, like they have to go in a certain, it was just, that is a little bit, you know, the cliche horror stereotypes that. So I don't know. Yeah, hopefully this wasn't too boring of a video. I'm trying to get back into the swing of doing these, so I think they'll get better. But yeah, definitely make sure you're subscribed and leave me some comments on some movies that I could do in the future. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye, everybody.